Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. So, I'm playing with my pearlescent paints again. I've got a marble, so I'm going to add a marble in, and I'm also going to do some swiping. So let's see if we can create some sails and some lacing by swiping over some of the paint to create something unexpected. I'm really excited to do this. I'm really excited to add to my pearlescent series that I started nearly a year ago. Can you believe that? Where has that time gone? So, let's see what we can create. So today I'm using a 20 by 20 inch canvas. And of course, I'm using a black base. This is Lamp Black by Amsterdam. All my colours, all my ratios and all my mixtures are always listed in the description box for each video. So if you'd like more information on those, plus a ton of other information that might be useful for you, then check out that description box because I really do list everything in there that I hope is really helpful for you when you're painting. So, I always say getting the base coat on any kind of design or creation is essential. And this way, by puddling the paint in the middle of the canvas and then stretching it out, really ensures that I get a good consistent layer. So that's how I start off these puddle pours. I've not stretched out the paint fully because when we add more paint to the centre, we're increasing the volume of the paint on the canvas. So just bear that in mind. So when you're adding more paints, you're adding more volume. Right, so I'm going to start with one of my most favourite pearlescent colours, and that's the blue. Now, as you all know, I normally puddle the paints on the canvas in just circular puddles. But this time I thought, well, what about if I zigzag them? What if I create different puddles on the canvas this time using these colours? So for this creation, I'm just going to puddle the paints, but in a zigzag motion. Zigzag puddles. Let's see how different that is using this type of paint. I'm now adding the red, and as you can see, I've labelled up all of my cups because as we know with pearlescent paints, they all look white until they react with the base colour and dry. So I'm just continuing the zigzag theme and layering some red on the base. I'm now taking the violet colour, and what I'm going to do with the violet is I'm just going to fill in some of the negative space that you can see, some of that black colour. And this time I'm just going to add the odd line, just a couple of lines in between those colours that we've already layered in that zigzag motion. And I definitely want a hint of green. So I'm now adding some green onto the canvas. But again, I'm just going to add it in some of the areas with some of the negative space. I'm just going to fill up this base coat with the pearlescent colours before I add a marble and I swipe. And there's such a great effect with this, and I really enjoyed layering these paints in a different way. So before I continue, let me show you a close-up of what I can see. You can see all the zigzags here, and you can probably make out some of the colours that are already transforming and reacting with the black base coat. Okay, so marble time. Some fun by adding the marble to the paint and tilting. And in my mind, what I want to do is I want to create some more lines and patterns within the middle of this canvas and do some swiping on the outer edges. So I've just placed my marble on the canvas. It's immersed within the paint and I'm just tilting from side to side. The marble is slowly moving within those zigzags of paint that we've already layered, creating different lines and texture as we go. I'm not going to do too much, so I think that's enough of the marble. I'm just going to drop that off the canvas onto my table. I'll place this down, and what I'll do is I'll show you a quick close-up before I move on. And you can see here the type of pattern that it's created. It's merged all those colours into one. It's created some lines and some really interesting detail. So that's the close-up by using the marble, and you can kind of see the flow that you get with the marble from just tilting from side to side, but keeping it within the middle of the design itself. So I really want the swipe to be minimal, but I do want to add some lacing. And I really feel that I want to add that to the edges. Now, bearing in mind when I tilt this canvas, I am going to push off the design that you see here down the edges and off the side. So the lacing itself and the cells that are being created by using this mixture of Australian Floetrol, again all the details are in the description box below, will be minimal. I really want to focus on the lines that are created by the marble, but adding some of that lacing literally on the edges of the canvas itself. So let's see if that works. But remember, when you're using your palette knife or your swiping tool, allow it to just rest on the surface of the paint and just allow it to glide over the surface. Don't press down too hard. So you can see this is some of the detail that we've already created, the lines in the middle and the lacing on the edge. Okay, so here's the fun part and probably one of the most stressful parts, but please don't be stressed, I joke. Just take your time and get a feel for the paint. Have an idea what edge you want to start with by tilting the paint in that direction, pushing it over the edge, and then bringing the paint back on itself again. So I've focused on that corner first, and as you can see, once I've tilted and I can see the colours have gone down the side, I tilt the paint back on itself again to allow me to use the volume of that paint to cover the full surface of that canvas area. And you can see here the swiping that I intended is just on that edge of that canvas, with the lines and the swirl detail in very much of the center of this piece. Don't be worried about tilting and then turning. Even put your canvas down and step back and have a real good look at it before you continue. There's no rush to this process. You've got the amount of time you've got dedicated to your painting and your creativity. So just don't rush this. Allow yourself to really look at the design as it evolves and as it transforms. And you'll know what edges you want to concentrate on. As I said, I really wanted the lines to be in the center and the lacing to be on the edge. I truly believe composition is about what you want to achieve. So I wanted to achieve the lacing on the edges, just like you can see here, and the lines using the marble and the swirling in the centre. And it's about ensuring that you tilt as much off as you want and bring the paint back in on itself, but have a real good look at the detail that you're creating on top. And once you're happy with it, you're finished. So you can then place your canvas back on its stand, clean up the edges, and what I mean by that is take all the drips off the edge, because you don't want those drips to pull the design off the surface and down the edge back onto your table. By removing those drips, you minimize any movement on the canvas itself once you've finished. So I'm going to take you in now for a close-up of the wet version. I'm going to let it dry and I'll show you the transformation of the dry version, and you can see exactly how those paints start transforming, and it's just like magic. It really does appear really vibrant, and that's what I love about these pearlescent paints. I've been working with them for just over a year, and each piece surprises me, and each piece that I do, I think, this is definitely my favourite so far. And if you're enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share it out if you can, because by doing that, you really help me reach other people that might not yet be seeing my videos, and they might also be interested in the fluid art creations that I make. So by doing that, you're really helping me out. So thank you so much in advance. Are you ready for the dry version? Well, here it is. It's fully dry. It's not yet varnished. When I do apply a coat of varnish, it will really shine and shimmer. I use a spray gloss varnish for all my pieces. But I really love the block colours. I love that lacing that's along that edge. I really also love all those lines that you can see, because within each of those block colours where those lines have been created with the marble, it's also incorporated different colours and tones of that same colour. So it really provides some depth and some movement to the piece that you can see. I absolutely love pearlescent paints, and I definitely haven't finished using them for different creations. I'm going to explore these even more throughout the year. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've had fun. I've loved having you along with me. So let me know what you think about this piece. Stay safe, take care of yourself, and I hope to see you again in the next video. And remember, when you're creating, just be kind to yourself, enjoy the process, and enjoy everything that you do. See you soon, everyone. Bye.